Thank you for your time, Mayor Parker. I appreciate you coming in to talk to us. So as most voters in our community know, you've run, citywide, you've won citywide, you've been our mayor. What's different about this race for county judge?
Well, it's a very different job. It has overlapping responsibilities, but distinct responsibilities. And this is my first partisan race. Not that it means I campaign differently, but who I talk to during the primary is a little bit different. County government and city government are about basic services that allow human beings to live together. Public safety, public health, public infrastructure. County judge is the chief emergency management coordinator in the county, however, which is a unique feature of the job. And the main difference between being mayor and being county judge is that mayor is the CEO of the city, hires and fires the department directors, city employees work for the mayor. The county judge is more like a chair of the board, and the 4 board members, the 4 county commissioners, have the operational budgets, and in some ways more authority than the county judge.
What made you, after being at the pinnacle of city government, want to get back into this high top level elected position again? What made you want to jump into the political fray again at this level?
I've been out of office for 10 years. I've been in the nonprofit world. I was CEO of a PAC. I worked for Baker Ripley. I'd actually retired at the end of 2024. But I looked at Washington and saw dysfunction. I looked at the state government here and saw dysfunction and attacks on local government. And then I looked at Harris County government and I saw that it seemed to be chaotic as well. This local government is something I know well, I can do well, and I said, no one else is better qualified, better able to step in and make a difference. And if we're going to achieve thoughtful government that actually focuses on getting the job done, we need to start at the local level. Been there, done that, ready to do it again.
What's the clearest contrast between you and your opponent in this runoff?
Experience, hands down. Having been the mayor of Houston, having been in, there is no challenging decision that I could make as county judge that I haven't already been faced with as mayor. And just the ability to be able to say, this is what happened in this emergency or this natural disaster, or even the worst thing that can happen to an executive is when someone who works for you is killed or injured. Been there, had to deliver the news to a family member. But it's also about balancing really challenging budgets. I took office in the middle of the mortgage crisis. First thing I had to do was lay off city personnel. I spent 18 years in office, never once voted to raise the tax rate. I believed, and when I came in as mayor, I believed that it was critical that in the midst of this huge recession, I wasn't going to add a burden to the citizens of Houston by raising the taxes. So I worked with the resources I had. I have, balanced, challenging budgets, and it's about setting priorities, explaining those priorities, and getting buy-in from the other elected officials around the table, but also with the residents saying, we're going to need to share this pain. We all know that Harris County has a budget problem. They're going to have to pass. They passed one last year that caused a lot of challenges. They're going to have to pass another one before I ever get there. And I want the ability to come in and say, let's figure out what the priorities are, what money we have, and let's match those two. And it's going to be lean and mean for a while.
A lot of voters, and you touched on this at the beginning, a lot of voters hear the word or the title Harris County Judge, and they think judge, they think courtroom. So I want to make sure voters, and I'm sure you do as well, that they're educated about the position. So could you touch on again what it is that the Harris County Judge does? This is not courtroom.
It is a huge problem. In a normal state, this position would be called county executive. And it's the chief executive for the county. The odd thing is that every county in Texas has exactly the same county government. You have county judge, countywide, and you have 4 commissioners. So you have 5 people who run county. Loving County, which, I don't know, maybe have 500 people in it, and Harris County, which has 5 million people in it. But because the title is county judge, a lot of folks think you're actually in a courtroom, you put on a black robe and have a gavel. County executive. And it's making the decisions for what needs to happen in Harris County to move it forward. But there's also 5 million people in Harris County, 34 cities in Harris County. There's about 2 million people in unincorporated Harris County. So, if Houston's the 4th largest city in America, the 5th largest city in America would be unincorporated Harris County. This is a huge urban area, and for those 2 million people, county government is the only government they have. We provide law enforcement, we provide, we build roads and we build bridges, we are, parks and libraries. We have responsibilities for everyone in Harris County, but for those people, we're it. And I look forward to getting in there and serving those folks.
Let's talk some about your priorities if elected to this position. What are some of your top priorities if elected?
There are several things going on. One is that we have to fend off an ever-growing set of attacks from the federal government and the state government, while still understanding that we have to work in partnership with them where we can. So, that's not something I can control. That's more reactive.
I've heard you refer to that as stupid fights.
You have to have good, understand good trouble and stupid fights. But for the services that we provide, so when the Republicans passed the so-called Big Beautiful Bill and threw people off of Medicaid and Medicare, and then they failed to renew the subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, people are thrown off health care. We are Harris County Hospital, Harris Health. We are the provider of last resort for health care here in this region. It's going to get worse. The stressors are going to get worse. When the former Homeland Security Secretary said that they were going to close down FEMA, we're in the hurricane belt. We depend on having a federal partner. They laid off the weather forecasters at the National Weather Service. We've had to wire around that by doing our own weather forecasting. So all of the challenges that we have are going to get worse. We have to be prepared for that. My priorities are wanting to keep people safe, and I understand that a lot of folks are worried about crime, but I also think that we have to do a better job with floodwater management. All of the jurisdictions down here work together to prevent flooding, but this region flooded before there were any human beings here. We've only made it worse, and storms are getting more intense, rainfall patterns are changing. So we have $2.5 billion of bond authorization to spend on flood mitigation. We've leveraged it with another $2.5 billion, but the projects are falling farther and farther behind. People can't afford to lose their homes. Our region can't continue to thrive if we can't get ahead of flooding in this area. So, safety, flood mitigation, and then my personal passions are housing and homelessness. And I hear over and over again how people are beginning to worry about being able to stay here in the Houston-Harris County region. Their kids can't afford a home, prices are going up. We have to do more to put housing on the ground, all price points, multifamily and single family, to make sure that our workforce has a place to live. And then we have to keep water out.
Yeah. I hear from voters, from when we do stories with voters, it's either the economy or crime or a combination of both. I'm curious what you're hearing most from voters. Is it the economy still?
Democrats are talking about the economy, Republicans are talking about crime. And I'm mostly talking to Democrats because I'm campaigning in a Democratic primary, but I'm talking to people all over Harris County, everywhere. And you hear both, and both are important. Unlike in the city where the police department is under the mayor and the mayor hires the police chief, in Harris County you have an independently elected sheriff, Ed Gonzalez. You have independently elected constables. They are responsible for crime. You have the court system, again, independently elected judges. I would be a part of that conversation and work on budgets and certain policy initiatives, but I can't control it. The economy piece, again, is a little more nebulous, but it is where we spend our dollars, how we spend our dollars, making sure that we invest in workforce development, making sure that we invest in things that make housing more affordable and more available so that we can keep our workers here. All of those things matter.
Can you or can the county, and with you leading it, do what you want without more money?
Absolutely. Now, what I want, I mean, there are a lot of things that I think the county should do and could do if we had the resources, but my responsibility is to make sure to look at the resources and align it with the priorities. And again, those priorities are set by the public, and they want to be safe, they don't want to have water in their houses, and they want the economy to pick up. And if we can really invest in the things that grow the economy, again, workforce development, housing, making this a place where people feel safe and want to move, that over time takes care of some of the economic issues and the stresses on the county's budget, because we end up with more tax dollars in the coffers.
And you said in your career you've never had to raise taxes.
Never once voted to raise taxes. Now, obviously, the appraisals change, and that is independently done, separate from local government. But I've never voted to raise taxes. Not that I would take that off the table in an emergency, but it all depends on the circumstances.
Sure. Let's talk about the actual county judge's office and perhaps how it's operating right now. It seems like what you were seeing, I think you used the word chaos, was one of the motivating factors to get you to jump in this race and want to serve. If you look back, the county judge's office in the last couple of years has made a lot of headlines, oftentimes perhaps not for the reasons you'd want to be in the news. I'm curious your take on how that office has been operating, and if you think it's been operating to the benefit of all Harris County citizens.
I'm not running against the current Harris County judge. This is going to be an open seat. She's chosen not to run again. I'll simply say that people saw me operate as a council member for 6 years, as controller for 6 years, as mayor for 6 years. Never once a scandal, never once a hint of impropriety, and a focus on we need to get things done. I have a good working relationship with all 4 commissioners. This is a job that requires communication and coordination and working with the commissioners. I kind of envision it as they're all in their kayaks and they're kind of rowing in different directions. We need to all row in the same direction for the future of Harris County, and my responsibility would be to get them talking to each other, to make sure that the agenda that flows smoothly to the monthly meetings, and that there are no surprises at the Commissioners' Court table as we tackle these issues, but that the issues are tackled, that we don't hide them, we don't fight over them, we address them. And I want to offer steady, calm leadership and good communication and transparency. Because each commissioner is so focused on their own precincts, it is up to the county judge as the one countywide elected official over the court to be able to knit all that together. And I don't think there's nearly enough transparency and enough looking at, floodwaters don't stop at a jurisdictional line, they keep flowing. Traffic doesn't stop between one precinct and another, and I don't know that there's been enough of a overhead view of how everything fits together in the county.
You touched on it there, and I just want to push a little bit. How important is that relationship between yourself, if elected as county judge, and those county commissioners? Harris County citizens have logged on to watch these meetings, and you can tell the relationships, frankly put, are just not there. And these meetings a lot of times go off the rails, and I think one would argue it's because of the lack of those relationships. So I go back to the question, how important are they to get county government to work?
Every governing body, elected body that I've ever seen has rules of decorum, and even if you don't like somebody, you ask respectful questions. There's protocol. For the very reason that you've mentioned, it is important that in that chamber you can work together as one body to focus on the needs of your constituents. And the dysfunction is, county government isn't broken. This is not about, I need to get in there to stamp out corruption or anything like that. We have to communicate with each other. I'm proud of the fact that I have a professional working relationship with the 4 commissioners who are there now. I have spent time in a legislative body. I know how to navigate through that, and the public deserves to be able to see their elected leaders working on issues, not sniping at each other. I absolutely believe that that part is easy. A change in leadership, we can take care of that. Now, over time, we're all going to have to figure out, it's just 5 people, and it takes 3 votes to get something done. So I would assume that over time we'll settle into where I will know, what the main priorities are of each of those commissioners. They'll know what my priorities are. We'll kind of generally have an idea of where the votes lie. And the goal is to make things happen and move the agenda forward. It's not to, I'm sure there's going to be a time when I'm on the wrong end of a 4-to-1 vote, but the goal should always be unanimous decisions moving forward.
You mentioned that obviously County Judge Lena Hidalgo is not running for re-election. She's not part of this primary. She opted not to run. But she nonetheless has spoken about you, has been public about her thoughts about you, bluntly saying that she doesn't believe you're a Democrat, suggesting perhaps you're not progressive enough, questioning your relationships with Kim Ogg and perhaps aligning yourself with her vision for Harris County. And it seems like your opponent in this primary runoff, Letitia Plummer, has sort of jumped in on that as well, saying you're not progressive enough, and also jumping in on the fact that you won't be a fighter when Harris County needs it. I want to give you a chance to respond to those attacks, both from your opponent in this runoff and the woman you're trying to replace.
Oh, I've been a Democrat my entire adult life. I have voted in every Democratic primary since I was old enough to vote. I have been a delegate to 3 national Democratic conventions, and I have spoken to, I have been a surrogate for Democratic presidential candidates in other states. I've spoken to the California Democratic Party in convention, the Ohio Democratic Party in convention, and what you hear when I say that, while I was mayor of Houston, I took my Democratic politicking to other states because it didn't benefit my constituents. Now, if that makes me not a Democrat because I'm pragmatic about wanting to protect the interests of Houston, I'll take that. I don't know what progressive is anymore. If someone could give me a list of policies, where are you on these policies? I think we could have a productive conversation. But people throw words around that are essentially meaningless any longer. And I'll just say, on the Kim Ogg issue, as Kim was a Republican for a long time. She changed parties, ran as a Democrat, and the Democratic Party endorsed her when she first ran for district attorney. She easily cleared a contested primary the second time she ran for a district attorney. It was the 3rd time around that the Democrats decided she wasn't a Democrat any longer. I don't know what to make of that other than that, now she's become a Republican again. Those are her decisions. They have nothing to do with me.
Do you think, and I watched a podcast interview that you did recently, maybe a week or so ago, that I found interesting. This topic was talked about in terms of titles, progressive, and I was fascinated by the conversation back and forth, and you touched on it now. It sounds like you're saying the titles sometimes do a disservice to what you're able to accomplish. Is that sort of the message?
Truly, I'm a Democrat. I mean, that's just, there's no evidence of in any way that I'm not. But what does that mean in terms of policies? Ask me the policy questions that are relevant to this race. The closest analog, as I have said, to county government is city government, and voters had an opportunity to watch me for 6 years as mayor, actually 18 years over time, and to see how I operate and vote on me 3 times, re-elect me, or elect me and then re-elect me, 3 times as mayor of Houston. So they were clearly supportive of how I manage the city. I'm going to take that same experience, those same skills. I'm not a different person now than I was then to Harris County.
You were so close to avoiding the runoff as a
It
whole.
was frustrating.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what one, was it frustrating to be so close and now have to go through this runoff process? And how are you approaching the runoff where it's expected, and I would assume a little bit of less turnout compared to the...
Oh, much, much less turnout. So, as a Democrat, I am thrilled that twice as many people showed up as were expected. I am absolutely thrilled that people who had never voted in a Democratic primary before showed up and voted. Now, the downside for me and for some other candidates on the ballot is that there was some identity politics going on. There was some, random voting going on. And as county judge, I'm buried in the middle of judges, real judges above and real judges below. And so I think there were a lot of people who showed up to vote who really didn't know who the down ballot candidates were. So I came very close, but in the runoff, we should have a normal turnout. We should have people who traditionally vote in the Democratic primary. My campaign is going to be exactly the same as it was going up to the first round, which is talk to the people we expect to show up, remind them of my track record and experience and how successful I was as mayor of Houston, and try to persuade them to show up again. No real changes in what I'm doing. I am trusting, though, that I easily clear the runoff, and that when we focus on November, that these folks who were so passionate to show up and vote for Democrats will show up again.
Is it a given, you find, in a county like Harris County that a Democrat wins this Harris County judge's race, or is it not safe to assume that anymore?
Lena Hidalgo won by, I think, half a percentage point 4 years ago, and in presidential years, we teeter on the edge. So we are a Democratic county, but barely. But with how we saw the primary play out and what's been happening around the country, I feel very confident that Democrats are going to have a great year.
Two more quick questions for you. Your opponent, Ms. Plummer, in a way of attacking you, said that you're touting your experience, but I think the quote to public media was that it's a, quote, dated experience, the wrong type of experience. I bring it up because
It's better to have some experience than no experience. Let me just lay that there.
A few weeks ago, for the Senate primary race, I interviewed Senator Cornyn, who's involved in his own difficult primary, and he touted his experience as well. And I asked him if sometimes experience can be a detriment in a current political environment that we find ourselves in. So when you find yourself being attacked by Ms. Plummer because of your experience, what is your response to it?
I just said, some experience is better than no experience, but I really don't pay much attention to it. My focus is on, this is what I'm offering to the voters. I'm not having a conversation with Councilmember Plummer. I'm having a conversation with the voters. But I will also say that I've been out of office for 10 years, and I spent time in the nonprofit sector. I was a senior leader at Baker Ripley, one of the largest direct service nonprofits in the southern United States. I helped oversee the evacuation shelter at NRG Stadium post-Harvey in my job at Baker Ripley. Then I ran a Washington-based PAC, the LGBT Victory Fund, where I got to work with candidates across the country. I had the opportunity to help bring new folks into the political process, down ballot races, city council, school board, water board, planning board, all across the country. So I've actually had exposure to, the cutting edge of politics over the last few years. So I come back after 10 years out of office with great depth of experience, but lots of new energy and new ideas that I've picked up over these last few years.
And in closing, as we know and most voters are aware, you've led Houston before. I'm curious, what did you learn from being Houston mayor, from that job, that you think you would do differently now?
Oh, I would absolutely approach the job the same way that I did as mayor of Houston. My job every day was to get up and to try to do something to make lives better for Houstonians, I want to get up every day and try to do something to make lives better for those people who live in Harris County. Are there individual things that I like, maybe I shouldn't have done that, or I might have done it in a different way? Of course. I mean, there were thousands of decisions that I made as mayor. So there's some that I would, if I had to do over, I'd do them differently. But the approach to the job, no, absolutely. I'm confident in my abilities, to bring good people into my staff, but also to stay in dialogue and communication with the citizens so that we can work on these problems together. I'm not going to tell you what the solution is. We're going to figure it out together, and then I'm going to execute it for you.
Real quick follow-up: Did you miss the campaigning, the interaction with voters? You know, you've been out of office for 10 years, but you were in politics for so long at these elected positions. You know, talking to voters, seeking re-election. Did you miss that? And are you enjoying being out on the campaign trail?
I did not really miss it, and you know, obviously I didn't jump out and run for a bunch of other things. I don't need a job. I was actually retired at the beginning of 2025, but I don't need a job. I need a mission, and that is something that I have realized about myself, because you know, I left the office and I went to work for Baker Ripley, and I could clearly see the need and the mission for Baker Ripley. It used to be called Neighborhood Centers. And then I became the CEO of Victory Fund, and I could clearly see the need and a mission. And I realized that I still have the passion. I need a mission. My mission is Harris County.
Righty. Anything I didn't ask you that you want to get across to voters? Do you want to highlight anything?
No. Looking forward to doing the job.
Appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.